Welcome back to another Palm Wine Central podcast episode. I am one of your hosts, Uncle AK. With me, I got my other host, Tutu. How you doing? How you doing? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.
Hey, you would call on me when I'm over here sipping water. My bad. Hi, happy Tuesday. Hi, everyone.
Like, I'm not even like seeing y'all.
Happy Tuesday, y'all. I'm good. Can't complain. Wish it was Friday, but we here. We here. How's
Only
everyone?
Tuesday wishing for Friday. That's the thing. I feel like every episode, I wish it was Friday.
I really wish the week be just dragging, man.
What are your weekends like? What makes Friday so fun?
I ain't got not a damn thing planned. No, wait a minute. No, it depends. Sometimes I be having stuff. Sometimes I don't. Like this weekend coming up, I have some fun like field day stuff coming up. So that's like I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
Not too much of a I'll be having stuff to do. Thank you.
Hannah, how you doing? Happy Tuesday.
Good. Happy Tuesday. Um, yeah, I'm good. I just told an embarrassing story before we got recorded. I'm not going to repeat it. So the week only has to go up from there. So it's going to be a good day.
Yeah. So, T, how you doing? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Happy last day of the month.
Yeah, rent is due tomorrow, or mortgage, whichever.
Did they send you?
Well, did they send you to say it was the last day of the month?
I was just saying that we made it through the month. I was not asking for you to remind us of the troubles that we have coming ahead tomorrow.
I'm sorry, but well, it's not like I was, trying to incite anything. Hopefully, it doesn't lead to any, suicide missions or anything like that, because that's September marks, suicide prevention month, and it's ending. So hopefully, you've made it this far. It's the start of the fourth quarter. So if you've made it this far, you might as well finish the remainder of the 3 quarters, and then a new year. So we all good. Don't you think?
You do know that because it's the suicide awareness and prevention month, whatever, it will not go stop because it's the 30th, right?
Of course not. It keeps going, but for the purpose of the pod, we'll hope that it stops today, and then from tomorrow, nobody thinks about it, and then maybe you could resume on the 5th.
After I've reminded us rent is due. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a fair reminder to me too as well. And then for all those who too that pay association fees, it's also due. So you guys, chop. Okay. Anyways, September marks National Suicide Prevention Month, a time when the world focuses on one of the most critical mental health challenges. But why does mental health for so many of us only becomes a topic of conversation during crisis or awareness campaigns? As we explore today's episode, we ask, how has your understanding of mental health evolved over time? And why do stigma and silence continue to dominate this subject across families and communities? In this episode goes beyond preventing statistics. It's about fostering genuine, ongoing conversations about mental well-being. Let's break the silence, not just this month, like T said, but every day. I got a fun icebreaker question for you guys. Hannah, the first one is for you. What's a small way someone supported your mental health that made a lasting difference? What's a small way someone supported your mental health that made a lasting difference?
I think just being like a listening ear when you need to vent. That way you just don't like pop off on people. Or to be that listening ear when I need to like really talk something through and I'm kind of going through a dark hole or something that can help kind of pull me out, make sure I don't go too far. Like, girl, you're overthinking, like it's not that deep. So yeah, I think those are just small ways that people have been there for me.
Okay. Thank you. T, what is something that people do that should be considered but not a mental health disorder? Well, 3 things.
3. Oh my God. People who open social media accounts for their children and are in the comments responding as the children and putting captions and posting videos about their parents and saying best mommy ever. Didn't. That. Second one, some of these boy moms, I think they needed the diagnosis. Some of these boy moms. And then third is when you see someone who has like all girls, sometimes they refer to their daughter as my husband's side chick. Get out of my face. It's like I can't have my husband because his side chicks are all over him. You want to look, it's the daughters.
You really thought about this stuff, huh?
You said 3, those were the 3. Actually, I do think about it every day because I go on social media and I see it every day and I think this has to be some level of disorder because what is this?
So who was supposed to respond? How were they supposed to respond? The one that responded as a kid, how was it supposed to respond? I'm just curious, sorry.
First of all, why is a child having a social media account?
Okay.
Again, we all know that is the mom running it. Okay. You're coming under there. I know that child is 2. Coming under there. Thank you, Auntie. I appreciate it. What's it? What really is
Okay, I'm sorry for bringing up another problem on a problem. Let's just move on, okay? We can put a pin to that. Yeah. Tutu, when do you feel most comfortable being open about your own mental well-being or wellness?
I don't know. Me, as bad as it's probably bad to say, I don't feel comfortable unless I'm probably like going through it. Like if I'm like really, really stressed about something or like something is really affecting me, then and if somebody asks, then I will like release it. But if not, then I kind of keep it bottled up until I can no longer, and then I'll just probably just have like a little breakdown.
So are you just exploding or are you comfortable?
No, it's not exploding. It's more like because usually I think we'll talk more about it, but like I'm the type of person that I'm like kind of like the strong friend that you have. So everybody comes to me with their issues, and I be listening like I'm the listening ear. So I'll like listen, but when it comes to me expressing how I feel, it isn't until like I can't take no more. And then if I like go through something and then I'd be like, oh, I need a vent, or I just like break down into crying and then somebody be like, what's wrong? And then I just release it. I don't know. It's not healthy, but yeah.
So that's when you feel most comfortable?
I mean, I don't know. Like I'm not, for me to sit here and be like, oh, let me come and sit and tell you my feelings or how I'm feeling or this is what I'm like, unless I'm actually having like maybe a heart-to-heart session with one of my girlfriends or something like that. I don't know. I'm wired weird. I don't know.
Therapy is not your most comfortable sessions yet? Therapy is not your most comfortable session so far yet?
Well, yeah, but therapy, yeah. But like I said, I have to be asked, like, what's going through, like, what irritates you or bothered you? Then I'd be like, okay, and I didn't even know at that time that, damn, this is like a relief. You know what I'm saying?
So that means that, if I'm understanding what you're saying, so that means you want, like, say, for example, if we're sitting and I see you like in that funk or in that mood, you're most comfortable and I go, what's wrong? Versus you having to just say.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, it's not real bad, but yeah, in a way,
it doesn't sound bad. I mean, it's
I'm just not going to like, just like, oh, okay, come down, let's sit. Like, okay, come on, son, let me tell you why I'm sad, or like, I'm not just gonna just whatever. But if it's like something that is really, really pressing, and then maybe I'll be like, okay, because I'll try to figure it out on my own, and then if I feel like it's too much, then I might, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, what's my biggest misconception about mental health when I was younger? Yeah, growing up in Africa, you have people who are walking down the street, and they have torn clothes and stuff like that. And you just think they're crazy. He's called a madman. And then you come to America and then they introduce mental health. And then now you start thinking back, like, were those people really crazy? Or, do we just not know what mental health was and how to approach it, And kid you not, when they come around, we'll run away because like, hey, madman. And I mean, you really like legitimately running like a dog is chasing you, So, yeah, that part. Let's examine mental health culture, statistics, and trends in 2025. Over 1 billion people worldwide now live with mental health conditions. What factors are driving this increase? What do we think are those factors? Let me go to first.
What factors do we think are? Stress, like work. A lot of people go through, like, say you lose a job, that could play a part into somebody's mental health, not being able to pay the bills or be able be financially stable. So that can cause a lot for people to, kind of just just be in a situation or have a
I thought you'd have gone for the number one. The very first one. Who's our current president?
Oh, no.
Maybe not shout it out, but YouTube
but
just
yeah.
paid 22 million to him. So let me just be quiet, JJ. But anyways, yeah, that would be my own.
I think in addition to like increase, like with stress, for one, I think that it's also the awareness around mental health that has increased those numbers, if I'm being honest. Because before now, not a lot of people were vocal about mental health, right? Everybody was just suffering in silence in the dark. But now a lot of people are coming in the light, are getting exposed. So that statistic number is increasing just by a mere fact of that. People are more vocal now about trauma that they had 30, 20 years ago, as opposed to previous generations who just died with it for the most part. So I think just bringing things to light in itself, being aware that we have to be not just stable financially, but mentally and emotionally as well. I think that contributes to the number.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I found some factors, right? You know me, I love me a good Google search. Factors that could potentially result in a period of poor mental health or factors: childhood abuse, trauma, or neglect, social isolation or loneliness, experiencing discrimination and stigma, including racism, social disadvantage, poverty or debt, and bereavement. So dealing with like grief and things like that. I know that's like a really big factor that can cause somebody to like deal with mental health issues and stuff like that. Like, for example, I can give one example. So like Ricky, my boss, right? So he lost his son, I'm gonna say 2 years ago. And he's still like dealing with that. And he talks about, like, he's very open about it. He talks about how like grief, he's still grieving, he doesn't know how to deal with it. So like he's in this state of like depression, and like he has his highs and his lows. So like sometimes he'll come on the show and everything will be like, it's a great morning, and we'll have a praise break and everything. He'll be kiki, and then by like 7 o'clock or 7:30, he's like, I'm gone. Like I'm gone.
Here's the question, right, to what you just mentioned. And please, nobody take this as being not sensitive, please. But I always wonder, right? Does grief have a timeline?
I don't think so.
Nah.
I think for for certain relationships, I think that people can understand your grief longer, like it can understand it better. But I don't think for that person it ever has a timeline. I think that like you start to learn to, for some people, you start to learn to live without that person. And like it doesn't get easier, but you just like handle it better each day, I guess. And like I guess
Yeah.
in some ways it kind of does get easier after a while. It doesn't hurt as much. But I still think in some ways, like you still grieve. Like there could be like a certain memory or a certain day that pops up, certain thing that you're like, dang, that makes you think of that person, and kind of have a moment where you're like grieving for that person. And it might not have to last, weeks, months at a time, but you can grieve in that moment that you lost that person. So I don't think it ever has like a okay, it's been 4 months. You should be over that person. Like, I don't think it ever has a timeline, personally.
And part two to that, does say age, say what's my question? Does the age gap, right? Say for example, you lost your grandpa versus you lost your son, or your grandma versus you lost a cousin or a niece or whatever. Does it differ when you grieve? Like when you want to sympathize with grief, does that differ?
I don't think so. I think they're all like, I think it's all because like some people they cherish like the bond that they have with their grandparents or their grandma is very, very tight knit, where it's like maybe that person raised them, like their grandmother raised them. So now that's all they were used to. So now that person is gone. So I mean, I guess it just depends on like, I mean, I heard the other day somebody say like you don't even adjust, you don't learn to adjust to it. It's like you're never gonna get over it. And I don't want to say you learn to accept it either, because people don't accept it, but you just have to kind of find ways to maneuver through it to like kind of get you through the day. Just to, yeah. So you don't really ever like accept or deal with the fact that okay, this person is no longer here. You just have to find ways to get through it.
I'm gonna differ a little bit. I think that the age gap kind of does make a little bit of a difference when you're sympathizing with somebody and also when they are themselves grieving, like not trying to be whatever. I think that yes, they can have a good connection with their grandparent. I think that people understand that a little bit more, and they can like they feel a little bit easier comforting you in that time of sorrow because like dang, it's your grandparent, right? But like also older people are supposed to pass away, not trying to be whatever. But when it comes to like a child or somebody younger, right, it's abnormal. It's so I think it's harder for the person who lost that child to grieve, but I also think sometimes it's harder for people to comfort or to feel how they're going to sympathize, because it's like, what do I, you know what I mean? What do I say to that? And like, I don't know, just, or like, it like let's say, you have a friend who, like, lost their child, but you have children, like, then you're like, oh, should I share my, you know what I mean? Like, should I talk about my kid? I think it's, because it was unnatural. Like kids aren't supposed to pass away before their parents, right? So I think that it, yes, grief, no matter the relationship, is hard, but I think it does make a difference sometimes when it comes to age or when it comes like expected, not trying to be whatever, expected an elder person versus not expected, or sudden with like somebody younger, or like not even younger in terms of like a child, but younger like your aunt who is 35. You know what I mean? Like I think even that is still different.
The pandemic has come and gone. We've seen a lot of people going back into the office, businesses open and closed, restaurants closed, open. A lot of people have been struggling since the pandemic, especially, well, now there's tariffs and all the different things, right? What's one way, or what are some ways that the pandemic and or social media change how you think about your well-being or everybody's well-being in general?
For me, I'd say that if one thing the pandemic taught me is that as humans, isolation is not for us, because that's literally what the pandemic did, was isolate us. And yeah, we're not gonna survive the apocalypse, if there ever is such a thing as that. We're not gonna make it. Yeah, just being isolated from people, and just mundane tasks as simple as driving to work, or going to the grocery store, or just being outside because they had curfews, and just not having that alone. It just shows me that isolation, we are not meant to be in isolation. We are meant to be in community. So
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I think that the pandemic like changed the way that we socialize with each other. I think that it kind of helped foster more like isolated thinking, since you're not really getting that diverse community. I don't know. I just think that we just saw a lot of different things in the pandemic. Different like social media posts. I don't know. I just think that the rhetoric back then was kind of more of what we're seeing now kind of coming to be. And I think that like a lot of people kind of got those, what they call Twitter fingers, where you can say what you want. Yes, obviously social media, people were always saying what they want, but I just think that it kind of really heightened that. And so then people were on the other end receiving that. I think you think about the comments that you're getting. I don't know. I don't know if that any of that really makes sense, or if I'm just rambling, but I think that it just emboldened people to kind of say the quiet parts out loud a little bit more. And obviously that kind of fosters their own mental health and not doing well, but then also the people receiving it, it kind of fuels some negative thinking on their end too.
people don't have inside voices anymore.
I also feel as though, well, a few things. One, the kids that were born then, I feel, had a setback with what reality really is. Not being able to go to class, interact with other kids. Like, if you really pay attention, you could tell the difference between a pandemic baby and a kid that was not born within that time. And then also a rise in millionaires, right? People willing to put themselves out there. Like during the pandemic, everybody was inside, and a lot of people were willing and able to put themselves out there in one way, shape, or form. TikTok challenges, all that crazy stuff, right? People were shooting, recording, and then after that, it just became a thing. So you have other folks who are not athletes or who are not your regular celebrities who were having sponsorships because of, say, fitness or just regular talk shows and things like that, right? So it kind of amplified that. So it was a bittersweet for those who were able to capitalize on it. A lot of people in the technology sector, like there was a boom in that sector, and then now is the reverse, right? They put a lot of money into having to secure Zoom and all this and Teams and all these different things so that hackers cannot hack. And then now there's that rush to go back into the office. Some people got really used to, working from home, having multiple jobs, and then having to scale back to just one, like going from 3, 4, 5, and then you have to scale back to just one, readjusting to, what normalcy is, and all that. So I think that kind of put a toll on people's mental health. And then not just that too, you add interest rates, that were going up. And then you have Trump, who is trying to work with Powell to cut it down, which again is making inflation not right. And then the government shutting down. Man, it's just so much. It's just so much, right? So as we're discussing that, what's the biggest obstacle that? Sorry. In your experience, how does culture or background shape the conversation about mental health? Like when we see everything that's going on right now. And this one, we're talking about the roles of family, culture, race, work, and community in how we experience mental health. So I'll pass this one to you, Tutu. In your experience, how does culture or background shape the conversation about mental health?
For me, mental health, like honestly, now thinking about it, it wasn't even really like a conversation brought up, at least that I like knew of. I think now as we're like evolving in today's society, now Africans, or let me at least speak from my household or my family, it's now like okay. Like I remember I told my mom that I'm in therapy. And this lady was like, for what? And I'm just sitting here like, because I need an outlet to like express. And she's like, talk to God. I'm saying, you see, that's the problem. Like, that's not everything talk to God. So I don't think they really recognize or realize how like mental health works, because even just like when you hear about it, like back home in Sierra Leone, if you tell somebody, like even for instance, the whole what's that thing, autism, right? Like it wasn't even really like something that was even discussed. Now here is discussed, but before, if you tell somebody that they have like a mental health issue or something like that, like we'll say like, oh, the person is like crazy or whatever the situation is. So I don't think it was taken seriously. But for me, I don't know. In my household, it really wasn't. We didn't really discuss mental health until maybe I got older. Where now I was like, okay, this is what's going on in the world. This is how I feel. I feel like everybody should talk about their feelings, or like I feel like everybody should. They don't. I don't know. Don't believe in that, especially not my dad. But I don't know.
You said they don't believe how mental health works. How does
They
mental
don't,
work?
I don't feel like let me not say I don't think they know how it works. I don't think they take it serious as how it really should be.
Let
You
me
know,
ask,
what I'm saying? Like,
let me ask you this, right?
mhm.
When you think about, okay, use your, like, you know how they say breathe in, breathe out, right? If you
Yeah.
can just imagine, if you can imagine, like using that technique, if you can imagine the power of God, if you could just imagine it, the wonders of it, do you think that trumps? I mean, do you think mental health trumps that?
Mental health trumps what?
Like that power of God, like when, so, like for example, your mom said, just talk to God, right?
Mhm.
And you're like, man, you don't know how that shit works. So in that case, then, right, if you have God and then you have mental health, right? Do you think if you really like sit down and you talk to God, like you focus on what the scriptures say, taking what you need to for yourself, and then what you don't or what you don't understand, you try your best to try and understand it. Do you think that would create wonders for you that mental health would not even come
I
close to?
mean, of course. I mean, of course. Like the power of God obviously is gonna trump. But also think about it. God created who? Mental health workers to be able to to be able to be that outlet. So in a sense, the good Lord is doing his due diligence. So at this point, talk to God. If I can't talk to God and it's taking too long, then I'll go and talk to his workers, his employees, and tell him that, this is the situation I'm going through.
Okay, and then now for this is just for like an example, right? When it's your turn, right, and you are in your parents' shoes, what would be the example that you would put forth when it comes to mental health for your kids?
Well, for one, if my child was to come up to me and say, oh, I would like to talk to a therapist, or I'm going through this, I'm going to listen. I feel like that's the main thing. I can sit here and tell, like, I go back examples. One time I told my dad, I'm stressed. What are you stressed about? You don't pay nothing. You don't do nothing. Like little things like that. Like it's like you can't sit here and tell me you know how I'm feeling. Everybody has their own things that they're dealing with. So it's just like at the end of the day, like when I'm a parent and my child is coming to me and they're telling me, oh, I feel this way, or this is my mood, or I'm so and so, I'm gonna listen. And if they want to go ahead and they want to go to therapy and stuff like that, okay, well, you know what? Let's see what we can do. Let's see what are the different resources that we can put you in to, like, get you the help that you need.
And you're not going to feel some type of way, right? That they're getting the help that they need. Would you feel like a relief, or would you feel some type of way like, damn, why can I not be the one helping it?
Well, I mean, obviously I would want to be the person to help them, but obviously if I'm not able to, then I feel like I would need to escalate it to somebody that is actually a professional at doing that. So I wouldn't feel no type of way. I would actually feel like relieved that, okay, my child actually wants to seek help.
Gotcha. Okay. Hannah, what's the relationship between community support and individual resilience?
Okay. The relationship between community support and what? Community resilience?
Community support and individual resilience.
Wait a minute, what that mean?
So for me, like, do I understand it? Like, they say it takes a village to raise a child, right? For example, but this one is more of, like, when you talk about mental health, like that community support, right? You have your friends, family, your coworkers, for example. You have everybody who understands that this is who you are and they support you in that, versus you feeling like you're doing it by yourself and everybody else around you is just mad and you're the only one that is making sense.
I figured that's what it was. I just, they be having these big ass, well, it's not big ass words, but okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Oh, that's my understanding. I don't know. Somebody can correct me.
No, the way that you put it was perfect. I was just like, oh, okay, got you. Okay.
So I think that in America, in American culture, things are very individualistic. Like, it is very much so. I don't think many people really have a village or a tribe here, especially not in like 2025. I think there's all these people who are like, oh, you can't discipline my child, you can't tell anything, you can't do anything to help me raise my child. I think that sometimes you have the wrong influences around you supporting wrong things into you if you do have a community. Whereas I think that a lot of other cultures, I think that there is a good community. I think that you see it with Latino country or families. You see it with Asian families. You see it with African families. Like, many people will live in a household to try to help build that household up. They'll send money back to their families to help try to like have this kind of community support. There are things like a gift thing, or what is it? Like, each month you guys will like put into a pot and then that next person gets it. And you know what I mean? There's it's like a funnel, right? There's always something about how to grow like the family and generational wealth. Whereas I think, like I said, American, like, it's very much like me just driven, like individualistic. And I think that it can hurt us because the world, it does feel like sometimes the world is on your shoulders and you don't feel like you have help to reach out, and like the different maybe things that you might go to reach out for help. They're like the system, you don't qualify for that type of assistance, or just different systems fail you, right? So I think that, I don't know, here it just feels very much so the world is on your shoulders. You have to manage things. They want people to have kids, but yet they make it harder to work from home, right? They want people to have kids, but yet they make daycare super expensive. And they say, oh, well, just raise your kid at home and teach them at home. Okay, on whose salary? Because we can't work multiple jobs now because everybody has to go back to the office. Everything's going up. So I just think that there are very much conflicting ideas here, and like, it's just a lot harder to do things here and manage your mental health.
You make it sound like community is always a good thing. It's not always, though. Because yes, some communities, sometimes they come together and they do all that, but sometimes they come together and just kill you. So
what do you mean, like, kill you though? Like,
some communities and some families, some group of friends, like whoever, that circle is just toxic. All they do is propagate certain rhetorics, or just pass down trauma and hate one person to the other. You hear grandma, men ain't shit, pass it to the daughter, men ain't shit. Every woman in that family, most of them men ain't shit. just going out there and just acting however. That's just a wild example I'm just giving, right? Yes, they will have a tight-knit community. If I call my grandma, she'll show up right now, right here. But is that what quality of community is that?
That's true. I was gonna say, like, I guess on the other hand, though, I don't know. I don't know, like living in a toxic environment versus like having like you get out of that toxic environment, but now like everything is on your own, right? So like let's say you have a mom who has like 4 kids, right? Where she was living with her mom, and I guess it was a toxic environment, and then she goes to live on her own, and now all of it's on her. Like, I don't know. I guess it's just I don't know what I'm trying to
Wait,
say.
I have a question to that question, right? What makes a place toxic? Is it you looking at it that make it toxic, or me experiencing it that makes it toxic?
I think if it's toxic, it's universally toxic, right? Whether I'm standing from the outside looking in, or you on the inside looking at the situation. If it's toxic, I think toxic is universal, right? There's no.
As because a lot of people say, well, that's my experience, right? I don't know nothing else. Like that's what we go through here. That's like normalcy, right? So for some people who reaches at their normalcy versus some people who poorness is their normalcy, like I don't know, like how am I supposed to tell them that that's not their norms? Like,
I mean, I think that's where the first issue is, right? Is you coming to tell them what their experience is. You're not living it, right? You can only hear it, but it's not for you to, you're not imposing on them, like kind of almost dismissing what they experienced, right? But it doesn't negate the fact that whatever was your normal was not healthy. It's like people who are raised racist. It's normal to them. They'll come and tell you, that's my normalcy, that's my experience. I hear you, it could be, but let's weigh this across with, let's weigh this with side by side with, I don't know, normal human decency, for example. It doesn't add up, right? So yes, you may have lived in that pain. Yes, that was your normal, but my job is not to come and tell you that that was not your experience, or as much as to invalidate that, that's nothing else. I don't think that would be somebody's job coming from the outside.
okay. Being that you said that, let me ask Hannah this then.
Okay.
You just set it up perfectly for me. At the job, if your coworker, or let's say you get wind that your coworker is dealing with some mental health crisis, I don't know, what could be an example? Every time it gets cold, you know, the like something triggers in them and then they just start acting crazy, right? Like, do you accept that, and then when you start feeling cold, like you find a way to either disappear or you find a way to manage that, or like how do you approach a situation like that, I guess?
Okay, hold on. So every time it gets cold.
No, just forget. I don't know. I was looking for like a mental, thing. Forget about that scenario. Find something else, please. I don't know. I could not find one in my head. But let's just say,
So more like someone having a mental episode at
pretty much,
work,
yeah,
for
something like
example.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like, is it your job to
Say someone is bipolar.
that part? Like,
Okay.
how do you manage that? Like, do you take it upon yourself to make sure that they are always good? Like, things like that. Like, how would you manage that? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. No, it's not my job to like, okay, I'm gonna check on you as a coworker because that's what I do, right? Like, hey, so and so, how are you today? Hey, how are you today? You know, if I notice that you might look a little down, hey, I might like pull you aside. Are you okay? Like, if they want to talk to me, cool. If not, cool, right? I'm not gonna press the issue, but also like I'm not going to make it my mission to every day, oh, I got to go see Johnny to make sure that he's good. Johnny, did you take your med? Like, that's not really my role. I think that, like, now if they have like a freak out on me, right? Like, because I have had a couple coworkers talk to me a little crazy, and I'll just be like, hold on. First, please adjust your tone so I can understand you better. Like, I don't understand you when you're talking like this. So I think even in that same situation, like with somebody, no matter what you're dealing with, I think there's still always a way to go about it, right? Like you can be having your moment, but like if you are able to manage your emotions, then I need you to manage them as you're talking to me, because we're not about to just freak out crazy. I might understand like that it wasn't coming from a malicious place. I might be like, I might be quicker to forgive, right? And versus somebody who did do it maliciously, but you still, if you're able to manage your emotions, then you should be able to manage them as you're talking to somebody, no matter what you're going through. Or give me that disclaimer, like, hey, look, I'm having an off day, it's not you. I'm having an off day. And then later, if you pop off on me, I'm like, oh, Johnny told me he was having an off day. Let me let him cool down. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So T, with that then, have you ever felt pressure to hide your struggles because of family, a coworker, social media, anything of that sort? Talk about it.
Oh yeah, every day. Just like Hannah said, I can't take my issues to work, right? Because there's a certain way that I'm expected to show up at work. And if I cannot get myself together up to par to be that person at work, then I shouldn't just show up. To me, in my opinion, I'm just not going to show up. Because all I'll do is just bleed over other people. Then you have people in a frenzy. And so, yeah, there's that pressure to not show up as your full self in that instance, right? Also, there are times when I've had to tuck it in to be there for somebody. Say I was having a bad time, someone has good news or something that they can't celebrate. Yeah, sometimes I've tucked it in to go celebrate with them, even though I was dying on the inside. It happens. That's what you do for community. And if I'm not able, well, I'm not able. But if I can manage, I'll do it. That's just what everyday life is like. I mean, social media, that's easy. Nobody is posting anything, well, not 100% in real time on social media anyway. So that part is easy. Can nobody see my face? Nobody can see my mood. So that part is easy. Family, the same thing. Especially sometimes when you present a situation and they, like Tutu said earlier, she told her dad she was stressed. He's like, what the hell are you stressed for? You think I'm about to sit there and start telling you, pouring out my heart for what's stressing me? Because I just already know that conversation is not going to end the way I want it to. Because you know. So, yeah, in a case like that, yeah, I'll hide it. So that's, to me, that's every day.
What about you, Tutu?
Oh, for sure. That just goes back to like how I first opened up. Me stating that like I don't talk unless it gets to a certain point. I feel like, because like I said, I'm the person that people comes to, they need to vent or they need to. So if somebody's having a rough day or somebody is going through something, I'm going to listen to them. And then whatever I'm dealing with is on the back burner because right now they need me. So somehow, some way, I'll figure it out. Whether I cry it out, whether I'm by myself or whatever, I'm gonna figure it out. But yeah, I do definitely have to hide it for sure.
Okay. Now, let me ask you ladies this, right? And you guys are right there on the seat to answer this question. Nobody else. when it comes to you guys and your menstrual cycles, for example, does that play into, like, does that also affect your mental health? Talk about it, please. For those who don't understand, like this guy here.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll be the first one to go.
Go ahead, talk about it.
When I am about to be on my menstrual, I be given a warning. Y'all, forgive me. My mood, I get real irritable. I start like, I don't want to talk. So just forgive me. I'm not in the best of moods right now. I don't want to be bothered. And then I just kind of just give a warning, because sometimes I could be very, like, my mood could just be very snappy, or could just be very, yeah. So I just give a warning and just, like, I forgive me. I don't mean to be this type of person. That's me. But you could definitely tell for sure when I'm on.
So for you, since we're talking about communal support, how can the community support you? Okay, for example, at work, how can your coworkers support you in times like that? For that 5, 6, 3, 4 days?
I mean, I don't know, because I ain't about to go around and be like, yeah, I'm on my period, y'all, so da-da-da-da, but I don't know. Huh?
People could tell. Because at one time that is like out of the norms, because if, for example, if you've been around people for so long and the second week of the month, you're always in a, fuzzy, in a fuzzy. Let me just put it that way. I mean, if somebody's not thinking, then they're just not thinking. But for those who are processing, they might know that, okay, yeah, it's that time. So how can they be better support for you, since we talk about mental health?
Let me answer for Tutu. I think your period should qualify for sick days. Employers should make that sick days.
Hello.
So you just stay home.
How many days are we talking about?
Until I'm done.
No, because some people, I don't agree with that part. Because some people have 7 days, some people have longer, some people have shorter. At the end of the day, this is a business they have to run, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think the average 3 days.
Okay.
Or I should say, you know what? No, maybe that's 3 days is a lot, because that's every month. Let's say they give you 1. So you can choose. Give you 1 day a month. I think that's fair.
Well, what? 1 day?
1 day, yeah. Because this is not your father's business here. They're not about to give you 3 days every month.
2.
Or you go and stay at home.
No, I feel like two.
No, 2 is a lot. Because remember, you already have already established sick days at work. So 1 to cover feminine issues, I think it's fair. 1 a month. So you can pick that very first day, which is usually the hardest. Pick that very first day and stay at home. If you want a second day, take it off your vacation time or your sick time.
Yeah, I might have to disagree with this. Give me 3 days. Give me 3 days. And
okay, you run a business and you are all about women empowerment, right? Mm-hmm. You hire an all-female staff. You have 5 people on that staff. You give everybody an extra 3 days off a month. How many working days do you have to run your business that's going to be left?
I mean, yeah, my business is going to be, but
there's no but.
We can compromise. We can figure out a way or something. I'm not saying if you.
No, I've given you the numbers. Run it for me. So that's 15 days. 15. You have 5 female employees. I'm not even counting you, because you got 3. Let's add you to that mix. That's 18 business days that you're going to be out of commission, short staff all the time. God forbid you get one of those crew where everybody is sync. So for at least, on average, if there are 5 women working, on average, you are going to have 3 people out on the same week on average. So tell me where that leaves your business.
I mean, yeah, it leaves it high and dry, but I don't know. I still the one day, I don't know, because one day, granted, yes, that's the worst one. But you have to think about the people that one day maybe they don't. Maybe there's people that deal with bad cramping, bad people be going to the hospital just because of their period. So just think
Then
about
you get a doctor's note.
but isn't that the same?
No, it's not. It's not the same thing.
Well,
So let me ask you this then, Tutu. Being that, with that concept, right? Would you say fuck women empowerment and hire all men with that scenario, or would you still hire the women?
no, I'm not gonna say fuck women. Fuck women empowerment. I mean, I get what y'all are saying, but business wise, I get it because you have a business to run. But I'm also just looking at it from the women's side. Like, that's just like, can I compare it to like a woman having a baby then?
You get maternity leave.
They get their maternity leave.
So if they give the maternity leave, why they can't give us menstrual leave?
But why though? Why do you need menstrual leave?
I don't understand. Explain. It's
Like,
like
obviously, okay.
It's like you. Don't get me wrong. I'm all pro women. It's like you saying because my birthday is on the 17th of every month of the year, every day of the I should get that day.
Oh, not the 17th of every year.
It's 17th of every month.
Of the month, yeah. You can take off just for your birthday. Yeah, I'm all for that. I'm always gonna be like take off for your birthday. But I'm just saying when it comes
don't ever start a business.
Well,
because you will run it to the ground.
Yeah, no,
I think that's a lot. And if you say that they should give women that, I think that sets us back to where this whole feminism and empowerment comes from. It's like, okay, well, if you're going to take that many days, women might as well not work. Then let's see where that leaves your mental health then.
I agree with that. I feel like there are some feminists who are going to be like, I can still work on my period and be fine.
Nobody would hire women. And then let's see what that does for our mental health. Because if you're not going to make money on a consistent basis, how are you going to be this independent bad bitch you keep telling everybody that you are?
I mean, you don't have to. I don't feel like you have to take those required 3 days. But if they give you the 3 days, that's fine. But if Hannah's saying, if Hannah just said, if you could work on it, then you can work on it. But you don't have to take it. But I think it should be there.
If it's there, people will take it. That's what I'm telling you. There's not a vacation time that they will give that people don't take advantage of.
It could be like women get like an extra week or so of their already existing like sick time.
Absolutely not. Wait, well, a week on their vacation or on every month?
Huh?
You mean a week added to like their vacation package?
For 6 days, right? So then like they could use
that could work for the whole year, right? Yes. I agree.
Then they could use the sick days how they please.
Yeah, but at the end of the day is to come back to AK's where this whole thing started, right? To me, and this will sound very bad, but I feel like it's the whole period thing, take it as it comes out, right? But hear me. I think dealing with your period and hormones has nothing to do with mental health. That's a whole different ball game altogether. So if you're using that as a crutch to say, oh, my hormones are ranging, so you know what, I get a pass to yell at everybody, you are juvenile. Because just go sit down somewhere and heal your hurting body. Do you get what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with depression. It has nothing to do with anxiety. It has nothing to do with, it might be connected somehow. Some people get that, right? When they get their period, they start getting social anxiety. I don't know people's diagnosis, but I'm just saying that that aspect of being a woman to me is not directly linked to like a mental health diagnosis. So no, it's not an excuse. The whole in this phase, yes, I'll be moody and all, but that's not mental health though.
If I have to feel like you guys say, hot snaps, hot what? How do you guys say hot what? Hot flashes, hot flashes, hot flashes. There you go. Hot flashes. If you have to deal with blood flowing on a certain time of the month, and you have to go buy pads, things like that. You have to do that on a constant basis. You don't think it affects your mental, or you, because you've gotten used to it, you just don't look at it that way?
No, that's why I said that don't get it twisted. Depends on how. Not everybody is attached to a mental issue.
Okay.
And before I say this now, people think I'm one of those. I'm not one of those God's favorite people. I have crippling PMS where I don't feel from my waist down. Asshole on fire type thing, throwing up, things are coming out from both ends. That's my kind of PMS. I just, when it happens, it sucks. I don't even want to be in my own body. It does all that. But what I'm saying is that it's something that you anticipate because you know it's coming and it passes. So for me to hang on to that and say my period, because and yes, I'm miserable, but I don't even have the energy to make someone else miserable because I'm just trying to stay alive for the next couple of hours, right? Now I have no control on how my hormones make me act or crave. That's not taking it. But I'm just saying that in that moment, I don't see how that is a direct correlation to a mental health diagnosis. It might affect you how you're feeling at that moment, but it's not a mental health diagnosis. I don't think so, unless a therapist will prove me wrong. It would affect your mood, it would affect your attitude, but it's not a diagnosis. It's not going to alter your brain. My opinion.
Okay. I need to seek a therapist for this one. I need to ask.
Yeah, I need to know too. When you find out, let me know.
Yeah. Therapists who are watching, please, if there is such a diagnosis for menstrual cycles, we would love to know. You know, I need to know some shit like that. It will come in very handy. Okay, moving on. Hannah, what makes it hard to open up about mental health?
Because you have to be vulnerable and you don't know how other people are going to receive that. And like, no one ever like really likes to expose themselves, you know. I don't think they really do. So I think it's just being vulnerable with somebody, choosing the right person to be vulnerable with and share those things with, because you don't want somebody who will take those same things that you shared in confidence and then throw them back at your face. And like, if you've had experience where somebody has done that, then you have trust issues with going forward and kind of sharing things that are really on your mind. I think also like how Tutu said, you know, in moments where you try to be vulnerable with somebody and they kind of like belittle it or kind of shoo it in a way like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. So it's just like choosing that right person to be vulnerable with is typically hard.
Okay. So Tutu, help me answer something Hannah just said. What are the characteristics of choosing the right person to be vulnerable with?
Characteristic of choosing a right person. What were the characteristics?
I guess a better question, or slash, what will make you very comfortable in opening up to somebody? Or better yet, what made your therapist it for you?
Well, my therapist, well, for one, she don't be judging. And if she judges, she don't let me know she be judging. So I feel like it's an open forum where I just talk and she literally just listens. If I could tell her that, God forbid, like I beat somebody up and she just be like, nah, I'm not gonna say she's gonna be like, yeah, girl, that's good, whatever, but she's just listening. You know what I'm saying? Like she's hearing me explain why I beat this person up or whatever the situation is. Like she's taking all the information in. She, I mean, she doesn't also like tell me what to do in instances. She walks me through it, like walks me through the issues. And then I realize, oh shit, maybe this is what I should do. Or maybe, like she's not telling me, oh, I think you should do this, or you're wrong in doing this, or whatever situation. She lets me figure it out on my own. So I feel like me being able to, that goes back to me being able, the people that I feel comfortable talking to. Like I said, I'm very big on if I'm telling you something, like a no judgment zone. Like I want to feel comfortable knowing that I could tell you something so deep, and one day down the line you won't be like, oh, and that's why so and so did it. Like I don't, because if that's the case, then there's no trust. So I'm just somebody that's just also like accountability. I'll say that's one characteristic too, accountability. Somebody that can I need to be able to hold myself accountable, but I would like somebody that can also be like, no, you said you was going to do this, so you need to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that's in your corner. And I mean, last but not least, I guess somebody just that makes me feel comfortable and safe, where it's like, okay, I don't have a problem. I can bawl my eyes out, snot falling down, and it's okay. We're gonna work through this, or we're gonna figure a way out. Or somebody that's just a safe space, and I feel it. Like, okay, this is her. Like I don't have to have my guard up.
Yeah. What if they reach in and grab the snot like this and pull it down and then wipe it on their shirt?
Oh, that's love. Oh, you care about me so much that you decide to just wipe my snot. Wow, even though I can do it. But I mean, that's love. I wouldn't want you to do that, but yeah.
See, fix your face. All right. Since I'm passing the questions like this, she mentioned something, right? Well, anyways, from what Tutu mentioned, right? How can I put this question? Okay. There's a difference between a paid service versus a free service, you would say, right? See? So,
yeah.
If you pay for therapy, I feel as though because you're paying for it, you'll give it your all. You'll look at it in a different light versus, let's say, for example, if you open it to a friend and a friend begin to or deal with you the same way as a therapist would, you look at it in two. It might be the exact same solution, but because one is paid and one is free, you look at it different. Would you agree or not?
I wouldn't say that it's necessarily because it's paid. I would say it's the underlying difference there is one person is specialized in that as opposed to being paid.
Okay. And because let's say, for example, you open up to friend A, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't give a disclaimer that, oh, I'm just here to chat, or, oh, I want your feedback, right? But you just leave it open. And person A listens to you and they start walking you through, well, they're listening to you as you speak, right? And then as you speak, you are figuring things out. And then for the little bit or whatever it is that is missing, they start also walking, asking you probing questions so that you can walk yourself through that, or they start walking you through that. But in the midst, you get pissed off, for example. But you're not going to get pissed off your therapist. Why is that?
If you've been in therapy, you know that, yeah, you do get pissed off at your therapist. You really do.
Okay.
And it's not forbidden, it's allowed. And they understand that because sometimes truth will strike a nerve.
So how do you manage both? Like, do you manage both situations the same way?
I would say, yeah. I feel like if you know your friends, right? You know the people who, if I need some serious heart-to-heart, someone to that's going to hold a mirror to this, you know who you will go to. If you want someone who will cuddle you, you know who you will talk to, right? For those people that you know that will hold a mirror for you, here's my opinion. I feel like sometimes, yes, a therapist is more equipped to help you walk through things and all that. But if I'm not listening to that person who is in my life, and I'm only listening when it comes to when I go to a therapist, I think I have bigger problems. Because my therapist will not always be there. I only see them probably once a week. Now, unless you have that money to see them every other day, but who's gonna be there? It's your friend, right? And also that builds your rapport in your relationship. So I feel like if you're not listening to the person who is in your life every day, sometimes at that moment when the thing is happening to you, who gives solid advice, right? And you're only listening to the therapist, I think I have bigger problems.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Tutu. What can we say or do that genuinely breaks stigma? And we still talk about mental health, right? Rather than just paying lip service.
What can we do to break the stigma
Mm-hmm.
rather than just going to
right, just blah, 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 just being nonchalant about it. Like, what can we really do to break that stigma, right? Like, say for example, like you took the step to go be better for yourself, right? Therapy wise, versus others that just you would say, okay, therapy, and they'd be like, man, what's that? Like, go to church, read the Bible, things like that. Like, what would you say to a person like me that would say, oh, you know what? Walk around with the Bible and the rosary all the time and just, lean on your faith versus, your shortcomings and things like that.
I don't know. What would I say? Because I mean, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Everybody handles and copes with their things differently. So I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I would like convince somebody to be like, oh yeah, therapy is the way to go. But I mean, I don't think I can necessarily convince somebody unless it's what they want to do. You get it? Like if it's like, yeah, I can't like just be like, oh yeah, every little thing because you're going through something. Oh, to go see a therapist. Like, no, it's like for me, I decided I wanted to go to therapy because I wanted an outlet. I wanted to be able to just freely speak, and I wanted to be held accountable and be able to talk to somebody that doesn't know me apart from, because I have friends and family that I can talk to. But sometimes when you talk to those people, they're not going to tell you everything that you need to hear. They'll probably tell you things that you want to hear for the sake of, oh, I don't want to step on toes. Now, it's not everybody that's going to do that. But for me, the therapist doesn't know me from a can of paint. She's listening to what I got to say, and she's telling me the real, like, this is what it is. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I can necessarily be. I think it just depends on the person and how they're feeling at the end of the day. I mean, I would say therapy is a good resource and a good outlet if you feel like you don't have that community around. Maybe look into therapy and stuff like that. But I don't think I can necessarily be like, oh yeah, go and do this and da 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 da. I think it just has to get to like a point or how the person is feeling.
Before you did it, when somebody told you, or if somebody had just said, girl, go to therapy, how would that have made you feel?
Funny enough, it actually, like, I don't think it didn't make me feel anyway. Because I've heard it before where people, like, I've had people, like friends around me, they're like, oh, I go to therapy. And it's always been something that I was always like curious about, but then I just never really took the initiative to do it. But I know it's something that I wanted to do. And then especially the resource is there in front of me and it's available to me. So why not? But yeah, I didn't take it. Now, if somebody's telling me like, oh, if I'm venting to somebody and they're like, oh, you need to go to therapy. Now that's like a different thing where it's like, okay, like, well, damn, like, what you trying to say? Like, my issue is you don't want to listen to my issue. Yeah, because it's just it's just weird. But if somebody was to say like that, and I'm trying to come to you and vent to you, that's when I'll be like, I'll take it some type of way because it's just like, okay, that's where it all goes back to the you can't be vulnerable, like what Hannah was saying. Because if I'm coming to you and I'm bawling my eyes out, and after I bawl my eyes out and I'm telling you this and that, you talk about some, oh well, you need to go to therapy. I'm looking at you like, the fuck you mean I need to go to therapy? Like, what are you trying to say? So yeah.
True,
Kind
true.
of add something to something you said where I do agree with you when you say that you cannot make someone go to therapy, but I feel like you can change someone's perspective around therapy,
For
right?
sure.
Because if you are going to therapy and I'm not seeing you grow, how can you come and talk to me about mental health?
Mm-hmm.
I need to see your communication skills better. I need to see our relationship improve as a result of that. The changes that can be noticeable in you, that would be like, tell someone that's it. You know what? Maybe that therapy does, kind of does something. I may not go, but it seems to be working for you. That changes someone's perspective on or their outlook on the whole mental well-being and therapy, right? So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay. Let's start winding down here. Who should I start with? T. What's the most what resources or traditions or habits can anybody start using today when it comes to, like seeking help? We've talked about therapy. What else is there? What else is out there?
shoot, talking to people, I think you would. It's it's one of those things where it's different for each person. You would have to try probably many different things to find your one. For somebody, it could just be as easy as being grounded, right? Maybe go outside and touch grass, you know, barefoot, walk in the rain, do the things that bring you joy. Talk to somebody, not necessarily a therapist. Maybe fix your walk with God. Get serious about that. If you're a Christian, take your meds. That's very important. Take your medication. Um, I also think having stability in your life, some kind of stability in your life helps a lot. If you don't have a job or you're worried about housing or you're worried about sickness or illness, that also goes to play a part in how your overall mental well-being is. So I think it just depends on what the person is facing at that time. And just try all these different things. They have now this dancing, somatic therapy, where it's not just talk. They do body work. That might work for you. Talk therapy might not work for you, but that might work. They have this other one, they call it EDM or EDMD, whatever, something. They go and they revive memories or something like that. That works for some people. Hypnosis works for some people. So it's just trying until you find the thing that works, and what works for this season might not necessarily, it might change next season. Something else might help you. So it depends.
Just don't commit suicide. Call the helpline if you need help and things like that. Tutu, what do we carry? How do we carry the spirit of prevention of this prevention month into all 12 months of the year?
Just like piggybacking off of what T said, kind of finding what makes, like, what is your thing? Talking to people obviously is a big thing. Seeking help, just trying to find things that don't I want to say, kind of trigger, like whatever, like whether it be stress or like, like if you're going through mental issues due to stress, or like maybe, I know life happens, shit happens, you lose a job, that could also trigger something. So I mean, just kind of just, I think in those ways, kind of just talking and letting people know, hey, this is the situation. And I get it, not everybody wants to talk and be vulnerable, but I feel like a lot of the reasons why we don't know why people are going through stuff is because people don't talk about it. So yeah, just being willing to talk. And I know it's not easy. It's just easier said than done. That it's not easy to go ahead and just be like, hey, I'm feeling this way and this is the situation. But yeah, also being kind, because when you're kind to people, you never know what people are going through. Like people could be going through something and you just smiling and being like, hey, you look nice, or I like this, can really actually help somebody. It can actually really stop somebody from doing something that they don't want to do. So I think just kind of giving grace and being kind also plays a huge part.
Yeah. I agree with you. But this is my little issue, right? When you show kindness and the amount of weight somebody put on you is more than the kindness that you wanted to give, what do?
What do you mean?
Say, for example, you wake up one day and you carry a donkey, you're going down the street, you decide to be a good Samaritan. And you meet person A laying there. You don't know what's wrong with person A until you turn person A around and they have a big gash down their chest, right? And you have you don't know what to do. You don't even know, you have no medical experience whatsoever. And all that comes to mind is, why did I even touch this person in the first place? Right? Like, the problem is even more than you anticipated and stuff like that. Like, what do you do?
I mean, you do the
Drop it,
next
walk
best.
away?
No, you do the next best thing. You call 911.
Yeah, just try to do something. Yeah, like at least even if you don't have the experience to put past their gash up or whatever, their wound, at least calling 911 is something. That them few minutes that the ambulance comes could save their life. Like it's something. So at least you feel good about it at the end of the day that I saved somebody's life.
Bring it to me.
I think what you're trying to refer to is a situation where you call someone, for example, and check up on them. It's like, oh, how are you doing? And you didn't know that they were just waiting to release. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I'm not doing okay. And blah, 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 blah. I mean, at that point, to me, is only information, right? The person needs to probably vent. All you did was ask them, how are you? Now you're not asking about, oh, what is going to solve your problems? Now that's where it starts getting tricky, right? Because I've witnessed this thing a lot where people don't intend to offer help, but ask how they can help. And then you say how you need help. And then they say it's beyond your capacity. Why did you ask me in the first place? Right? I feel like onto some level, if you know what someone, now venting is one thing, you don't have to carry that burden. But if you hear all that and you decide, I think I would like to help AK. You call AK and you say, AK, I know you said this, how can I help? And AK say, oh my goodness, this is what I need. You're like, damn, right now, AK, for example, says, oh, I need money to go get a new tire or something to go to work. Now, you may not have the $200 for the tires, right? At least you can give a 50, but you say something like that and be like, damn, shoot, I didn't know he was going to ask for a whole tire. You should have checked your capacity before you ask that person how you can help. Right? So I feel like if you are going to be kind, now hearing is one thing. So if you are going to offer assistance, just know that you don't know what's on the other side of that. But if you are going to offer assistance, you should have already in your mind what your capacity to help is. And if you go and if it's beyond you, they do the next best thing, call 911. There's always a little you can contribute to that solution.
Okay. Well said. Well said. Yeah. Okay. Call 911. What if I don't get phone? But sorry, that's just a rhetorical question.
Yell. If you don't have a phone, go run and go yell, find help.
Okay. I got it. All right. Now, Hannah, what's the most impactful way you've seen someone change their mental health for the better?
I think just looking like, I don't know a specific example of somebody, but I think in general, just changing your
You don't know a specific example of somebody. Let me give you an example. You're a PT, correct?
Yes.
And you don't have to talk about the patient X per se, but in general, when, say, for example, if I hop on a motorcycle, for example, and I go, and now I crash, I think I'll find myself in your facility somehow, some way, right? So that should affect my mental health. So have you seen a moment where, somebody like that, go and then all of a sudden become like they reinstate themselves back into society as they were before the accident? Yes. I don't know.
Like a process, right? But I think what I was going to say, like one of the most impactful things I see people do is like change their perspective about their situation. So in the case of like the motorcycle accident, right? A lot of people would say like, oh, I'm broken. Oh, my body doesn't work. Oh, I can't do XYZ anymore. And my job is like to say like, you can, it might look a little different. You might not be able to do it yet, but like that is what we're working towards. So changing the narrative around their situation, changing their perspective, and kind of like trying to achieve small wins. So I think that when you look at a problem in your life when it comes to mental health, you're like, oh, I have this big problem, right? If you can just look at it like a small section and try to find a small win, that helps build confidence for larger wins and try to do harder things, right? This is what she said in the organizing episode as well, but like take it as small chunks and then build from there. And so that's what I do with people. Like they're in this sad situation, they're really down on their luck, they're in this dark place, one of the darkest places that they've been. Like I said, they can't move like they used to, they can't talk like they used to. Let's just do a stand, right? Okay, now you can do that. Let's do some walking. Now you feel confident with, like, so it's just helping build these small things. And in doing that, that helps change their narrative. I can do this. And I don't know, just, it somehow just helps change like how they perceive the world. And once they feel like, oh, I actually can do it, I can still participate in the things that I used to like, then that just helps them in their overall mental health, because where they were is they thought that they would never be able to walk again. They thought they would never be able to ride a bike again. And then we do these things that help show them you can. You might need some equipment or you might not, right? But you can still get back to some of those activities that you enjoyed and you love. So changing your narrative, changing the perspective, finding small wins in the day to help build your confidence. That way you push yourself to do harder things. You expose yourself to like more challenging things. And I think we all like, yeah, as humans, like we like a good challenge, right? Like in the time we're like, oh, that was hard. But like when you look back, you're like, I did that. Like I did that hard. And that just inherently makes you feel better about your life, about your mental health, about your situation that you're going through. Um, so yeah, that was long-winded, but I think finding small wins, changing your perspective, listen to other people and their perspective about things too, right? Like something I encourage my patients is like watch YouTube videos of somebody who has your same impairment, right? There are people with spinal cord injuries getting down on the floor, getting out of their wheelchair, popping the wheelchair up and getting themselves back in, like they're at the same level of injury as you. So if it's possible for them, it can be possible for you. But your mind is the most important thing. Like whether you can or you can't, you're absolutely correct. Like if you believe that you can't do something, your brain will not let you do it. But if you can trust yourself that you can do that thing, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be easy. You're not gonna get on the first try, but you are more likely to achieve that goal when you say, I can do this. So change your perspective, find other people with different perspective. And yeah.
Okay. Can you add one more thing to our listeners, like one takeaway to them, about mental health in that, in their daily lives?
I was thinking earlier, I think that I heard this earlier, but they say that you should have three hobbies, one for just like pure pleasure, one that keeps you active, and one that makes you some money. And so I think that one, if we can first find a hobby, like how many of us really can say what our hobbies are and like know ourselves well enough to know what we like and don't like. I think we just kind of sometimes go throughout the day and things just happen to us rather than us being in charge of our day. So if you can carve out time to find things that you enjoy, pouring into yourself, I think that that will help any situation that you're in, right? If you do something that you love, like I said, one that keeps you fit, fitness, I'm a PT, so fitness does improve your mental health. Going on a walk, staying active, all of that does actually impact your mental health, especially if it's outside where you're getting the sun and vitamin D. That's going to help boost your mental health just in general. So one for leisure. One that's going to make you some money. We all feel a little bit better when we're less stressed about money. So something that can help you build and kind of get out of your financial situation or build generational wealth or work towards goals that you have in mind. What was the last one I said? One for fun, one for leisure, like activity, and then
Finance.
yeah. So I think just a takeaway for the listeners: get outside, get moving, get some hobbies, start learning more about yourself.
My takeaway will be something that I'm learning recently, which is increasing my tolerance and capacity. Life, as much as I don't think life gets easier. It gets complicated. Because we grow, right? And we only get to add factors into our lives, right? You get married, now you have children, now you have to juggle kids and family and work, right? So I don't think life gets easier. And I think that I'm learning this thing about my triggers will not go away even as life is not getting easier. So I'm learning that my mental well-being, I'm trying to frame, my mental well-being is attached to my ability to juggle all these things together. If that makes sense. Yeah. So saying for me to say, oh, you know what? Yeah, you go to therapy and then you're not going to get triggered anymore. That's a lie. You are going to get even more triggered. Then you have to do even more work to control yourself because your capacity is reducing. Now you have children. Now you have a husband. Now you have work. Now your parents are aging and they're living with you. You're spreading thinner as time goes on. Your triggers will even be more amplified. And so I'm learning to increase my capacity to hold more things all at once.
Okay. Good luck with that one.
I need it.
I'll tell you that much. It's like studying, the older you get, the harder it becomes, So, okay. Tutu, you got yours? Or should I ask you a different question?
I mean, are we just doing a takeaway? If it's a takeaway, I feel like this is a work in progress for me and I'm currently working on it. It's okay to be vulnerable and open up sometimes. It's needed. It's okay to let somebody know I'm not okay. That's something that I really been working on. And you don't always have to feel like you're alone, because you're not alone, actually. That's something as much as people think that they're alone, you're actually really not alone. It might be hard to like see that you might feel like as if you don't got nobody in your corner, but best believe there is at least one person that is rooting for you and supporting you. So definitely talk to somebody. Let people know that it's okay for you to have off days. It's okay for you to say, I'm not okay and I just need some time. And yeah, that's my takeaway.
Nice. That one person is God.
Okay.
God.
Yep.
Any day, anytime, any light, any. But yeah, it's only when you ask for something it's not given, then you start asking God. I thought you got me, but that's a topic for another day. Now, who would you wait for me? My takeaway from this conversation today is, well, for one, I need to go and find if there's a mental diagnosis for women on their period. If there's such a thing as a mental diagnosis for that, I need to ask for that, because if there is, then it makes the conversation a lot interesting for me. And so much nuance that we need to like really, really, really touch on. And then secondly is just check on people. Like sometimes like it's good to read between the lines and not just take what people say face value, but it's also good to also read between the lines. Like I taught in school, like when you read, it's not just what's written there, but you also have to find what's missing, and plug in and stuff like that. Try to do that, because sometimes people talk, but they don't really say what they're really feeling, and they want you to dig more, right? Sometimes it's unfortunate, but again, everybody's different, right? So just knowing when somebody is crying louder for help versus when they're just talking. So that'll be my own. Okay. Who would you reach out to this week to discuss or support your mental health? Anyways, you guys know who you reach out to. What will you do differently after this recording, this episode? Hannah. We talk about mental health, by the way.
What would I do differently? Probably, I guess, just maybe reach out more, maybe be more like explicit in my questioning. So not just like, how are you, but like how is your mental health, or like how are you really feeling? Make them actually know that I really care. Not to say that they don't know I care, but I guess just kind of, instead of asking more superficial questions, like ask deeper questions, just to get a better understanding of like if they're really doing okay or not. Yeah.
Yep. What about you, T?
I don't think that I would do anything differently. I think I would just keep doing what I'm already doing, even more. So it's a reminder to keep, to reach out to the people in community. So I think just keep doing that.
Yeah. Tutu?
Book a session. I need a session. That's what I do. I actually need to set up a session. I haven't done that in
Who, your therapist?
Yeah.
Okay.
What y'all thinking?
No idea.
All right, get your mind out the gutters now. All right.
You left it up for interpretation, so we're wondering like
The
what.
only session I was talking about was my therapist.
Okay.
But let me add something that I think I'll do differently. I think if my time comes, I have kids, I'll get them in the conversation early, the mental health conversation.
How do you start that?
I think you start it first by modeling it. I think.
Yeah.
You know, how you're talking to them, how you're walking them through stuff, through their feelings, teaching them boundaries. I think those are ways to incorporate mental wellness into stuff. And if possible, you know, when they say they get to those crazy teenage years, I don't know why everybody expects teenagers to be crazy, because I've seen a lot of them that are not. So I'm wondering what's happening. But, you know, in that space, maybe get them in therapy. If they cannot talk to you, maybe they might talk to a therapist. I don't know. It's to try, but I think I'll go about it differently than it was when it was my turn. I would
No
like
listening to NBA Youngboy.
say the what?
No listening to NBA Youngboy.
Yeah, all these. I mean, you can't really stop it because there's 8 hours in a day where they're not with you. But you know,
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. All right.
What would you do?
What would I do different? I have 2 coworkers. I gotta go ask them if they're normal tomorrow. You know,
You got 2 coworkers that what?
I gotta go ask them if they're normal. You know, because they've been doing some crazy stuff that I'm like, guy, like, are you okay? Because like, is there something that I got to know so that, you know, moving forward, I feel like it's okay to like not always be looking like this, you know, like over my shoulders, like you guys are about to pop off or hit me with something, you know, because you guys are really making me feel nervous. Like you're moving too much, way too much, and just doing a lot of, you know, things. So I need to know if something is going on or not, you know. So I guess
what do I have to do with mental?
it's distracting my mental because I cannot work properly. You know, like I'm always like looking like, yo, is this person gonna shoot me or something? Like, why they're moving so much? Like, you never been around somebody that they cannot sit still. Like they're lifting something. Very soon you see that computer they're holding like this and they're working. Next you know is they're sitting. I mean, sorry, no, they'll climb and then they'll sit on the desk and then I'm just like, bro, like what is going on right now? You know, like
Maybe they have ADHD. Maybe they have ADD where they can't sit still and they have to like move.
that's why I'll ask because I need to know. Like, you know, like is something going on? I don't know. Well, is it bad? I guess my question now is it bad?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah, it is. Why would you? Is that how
Because
you're gonna approach
they're
it?
in their space though. They're not coming to your office or your cubicle or your desk, are they?
It's open space.
Right. So if they're in their own little world, why would you go and interfere in their own little
No,
world?
because things are moving. Like, you don't understand. Like things are moving. It's not like okay, like where I'm sitting right now. If this is just me right here, I'm cool. But it's not just that, right? Like they're moving. At one point, they're on somebody's desk grabbing something, and then they're putting it like. At one point, they're like shifting, like it's something.
Well, maybe because they have ADD or ADHD. Maybe that's how they cope. OCD is something.
I have open space, meaning they're able to do that, and you equally are able to find an alternative open space.
She ain't lie.
True, but we're sharing that space, so I guess they have to meet me halfway to the way I'm willing to meet them halfway.
They could be considerate, right? Like they could understand that it is distracting for others. However,
How about you lead with that then, rather than are you normal? Or
Yeah.
No, I mean I was not going to say you're normal. I was going to like not the way I'm saying it right now, but more of, you know, approach like, yo, like, okay, is there a reason why you moving so much? You know, like,
okay, yeah. So if you
you know,
approach it calmly, okay.
yeah, like,
but it's
man,
like I would be like, why am I moving so because I want to move. What is it to move?
Because that'd be my answer too.
Listen, are you my legs? Oh,
Yeah.
Are you gonna watch Earning My Steps? Oh, okay.
Facts. They could be earning their steps. For real, for real. They really could.
So the way we earn steps, we have a walk, like a good, you hit 2,000 steps where you take that walk, and everybody does it. So why is it in this space that you are choosing to do your own walk?
Because that's their hill.
But anyways, okay. So we continue, and I'll ask. I'll try to find a better way so that they don't hit me with HR policies and shit like that. But I still gotta know because it's like it's something. And then the crazy part too is that they have a problem with other people not putting on headphones when they take meetings, but they are number one to sit and take meetings without headphones. And I'm just like, bro, like, sis, make that shit make sense.
So
bro.
do you have headphones? Do you have headphones on?
First of all, I don't like taking meetings where people are because I don't like when people like overhear my conversations. I might say something that is not that somebody else might have a lot of expertise than me, and then now they'll be forced to correct me. And it's choosing the right time to do so. So wait till I'm done before you try to let me finish this thing. So I always go and take my meeting and
That sounds like you have a
But
different
apart
kind
from
of
that,
problem.
yeah, but apart from that, do you have headphones on at work?
yeah, always, all the time.
So then how is they moving around bothering you?
Because there's right here, like look, right here like this. Like you come like this past, you come like this past, and next you know I see like a pencil just go, and I'm going, bro, like why are we showing stuff?
Does he walk in front of you too? Or
Walk and pass and go and hand it to the person. Stop shooting stuff. Like, just go, And well, my problem is, they say do unto others as you want us to do unto you. Why are you sitting here? Your volume is at 75%, and there's open space here where people are working. You can put it down to 15% or 10%, stuff like that. So I just feel as though something is disconnected somewhere.
You didn't say all of this. You just said that they were moving a lot, right? They don't sound ADD, they sound inconsiderate.
That part too. Anyway, so we continue. I'll come back to it. I must ask that question because I've been holding it for 6 months now, and I feel like this episode has empowered me to go and ask the question. So I will do.
What if that question sends them to a dark place?
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, and then you really won't have something to worry about and be looking over your shoulder.
I'll go walk from the treehouse. That's really what I would do. I don't want to go walk from the treehouse right now because I enjoy working with my coworkers in that space. But if that's the case, but I just need them to stop throwing stuff and also be considerate that other people are also sitting there and taking meetings and stuff like that. So, yeah. Because I'm not the only one who has the problem with it. A lot of people come and, like you two, to come and tell me, like I'm supposed to do some shit about it. Like,
so you're the designated. You're the designated. What's chairperson?
Yeah, but PM for the
designated snitch.
Designated.
Yeah, so
that's what it is. The designated snitch is the right word for it. So everybody comes with their HR complaints, and you are now HR to go ahead. Okay, cool. Let us know how that conversation goes.
I sure will. And they are both Muzungus, so I don't know how this would
What's that?
Close.
White people. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this. We've come to the end of this great episode on mental health. This is a dope conversation, y'all. Thank you guys. You guys live your own, mental health, I guess, daily, what's the word I'm looking for? Daily hacks, this to the listeners, leave your own mental daily hacks, in the comment section, how you deal with it, how you cope with it, how you also help others to cope with it, right? If you do at all, if you go for therapy, how is that working for you? Would you be an advocate for it or not, right? Do you think that people just blow it out of proportion into this society, into this world or not, right? We'd love to hear all of that. And again, like this episode, mental health, not just for this month or suicide prevention month. It's not just the month of September. It spans throughout the entire year, right? So again, you can get help anywhere. Most importantly, there's a crisis helpline. Hopefully I could find that and I'll put that. It was just passing here. You know what I mean? So, we are in that, we are doing our own best to, make light of Suicide Prevention Month. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. But anyways, man, thank you guys for listening. If you made it this far, you're a real one. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Tutu. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Teres. And to the listeners, thank you. Monkoleke. Peace. We out. Bye.